The next flex of wealth will not be a monetary one. It won't be one about land, but it'll be about your nervous system and how well you can regulate it in events that are meant to get your reaction. Now, there's two ways things can go. There is an event that takes place, and people call things distractions, and I understand how that can be tone deaf. But let me try to play with this a little because two truths can be happening at once. Something can be a distraction in the sense that for about 72 to 84 hours, all platforms are blocked and only talking about one topic, and it makes you wonder what we're not taking a look at. And also, the things that we talk about during that time period have a lot more to do with like debating whether someone is a good person, what they have said, and how we feel when other people don't see the horrible things they've done and what their mindset is. And this will keep going back and forth. And when we take a look at the impact, it's more of a dysregulation in the collective. The other way we can take a look at this is when we decide to alchemize it. So, like I said, whether something is a distraction or not is entirely up to us. Unfortunately, we do see a lot of people who take the apathetic route when they claim to be apolitical, where it's just a dismissal of everything. We'll come back to that in a second. When you alchemize, you were able to get rooted, of course, process everything healthily. I myself needed to really take a moment last night with all sorts of different current events. And then what you want to do is process and get rooted in joy and create harder. That's what the ask always will be. Why? Well, think about an interviewer asking you, do you work well under pressure? I don't believe the answer is actually yes. What I believe actually takes place is people get into meditation under pressure and then they perform, because that's the best way you can get work done. You find your way to make peace and, what did I say earlier, right? Regulate your nervous system and get things done. Coming back to how things can be a distraction, it's kind of a tone deaf word considering how horrible some atrocities can be and how hateful some people's rhetoric can be, and how they don't want certain people here, or they don't believe in certain groups' right to exist. And that's always there. A lot of life now moving forward as the collective begins to wake up is going to be about consent. So, we're lied to about the best currency of wealth being money, but it is actually attention. And so when our attention is where we are being puppeteered towards, and it's actually a very intelligent design, because all the places we're being puppeteered towards are valid points of views, or valid issues in the world, and it dysregulates us. Coming back to the thing about people who are apathetic when they're dismissing things, we don't want that. If you're truly a spiritual person, you will want to benefit the collective inherently. Convincing people. On the matter of convincing anybody of anything, just know that that really takes that person's consent, subconsciously or unconsciously, whether they realize it or not, of wanting to be convinced of any belief system. So convincing someone of anything is trying to also give your power to them a bit. I have run into that recently, and so I had to really sit with it when I was kind of in my own spiral. What do we teach our nervous system when we try to convince somebody of something? We want them to see us. When we are trying to explain an issue that's taking place, we are seeing ourselves in that issue too, and that it could happen to me. And how dare you not see me and the harm this could cause me based on this mindset or based on what's happening in the world. What do you train your nervous system to believe? That your self-concept and the ability to be seen and safe is now being externalized. While that may be true in the 3D reality to an extent, what I am offering is allowing you to see for yourself within that it doesn't help when we keep trying to convince others to see something. They will have to come to that conclusion on their own, and that's their journey. And there's 8 billion people on this planet. There are people for you that match your frequency and who you are. coming full circle, all of this was about how much you can get done, and also how the greatest wealth will be nervous system regulation. That doesn't mean you have to ignore anything. And I am so sorry if you have ever run into people that, are stemming away from a system, but it's like they don't care about anything at all. Because in Buddhist philosophy, compassion comes first. It's definitely very nihilistic and edgy when that Eastern stuff gets translated into the West. It's just devoid of, the empathy. But you have to be strategic, and you have to be razor sharp with what you need to get done. Because a lot of the time we are just looking for someone who gets us, and then when we find the right set of words that people have strung together, we want to repost their words. But in this time, I encourage you to create your own world and your own word. Use your words to create another world. Okay, this is something completely within your power. If you are in a position in life where you are safe right now and you have a roof over your head and you are able to think clearly and find some time to escape, you are important now more than ever to take this knowledge and alchemize it into something great. The more independently you think, the more you are necessary in society. The more you create, the more we need you. Because clearly, we were starting to understand what was going on. Clearly, the collective was waking up and seeing up versus down. Clearly, we were able to see how the wool was being pulled over our eyes, and just when that was happening, we get another event. And again, even if it's a distraction, there were valid points of views that people were having about the mindset of the individual and what they believed in its harm that it can cause, as well as other current events that are happening. But for you who are watching, what does this have to do with you? What can you do with this information? Because Kendrick was saying in that performance, turn the TV off. Once you get the information, do something with it. Please do not sit there with it. That is what is being asked by the elite. This is how we stay within their system instead of creating our own. You have so much more power than you realize. You are fully the one who controls whether something ends up being a distraction for you or does it lead you closer to your divine higher purpose.